allows to vibrate, not going too far in the future, not going too far in the past. Right now is the vibrate, the rate at which we're vibing. I want to talk about this solar eclipse slash new moon in Cancer coming July 12th slash 13th. So it's gonna be new moon energy, that not reaping what we sow, but planting the seeds, planting the seeds of what we want to manifest. But also a solar eclipse, solar eclipse kind of represent new beginnings. And also with the eclipse, if y'all remember that beautiful infamous one in August last year, that light gets shine on the shadows, definitely. And this one, I don't think is gonna be, one of those fully like where the moon is gonna fully cover the sun. And if in the places where it will get a little partial covering, it's more like in Australia and like the Indian Ocean, Pacific Ocean, like in that area. That's where it'll be more visible, the little visibility that you will be able to see. Excuse me, as far as the moon covering over the sun. So it's gonna be about new beginnings. A matter of fact, in a solar eclipse is when the moon is in between the earth and the sun. Matter of fact, and allowing for the sun to shine that light on the shadow self. The moon aspects deals with emotions and feminine energy, our magnetized energy. It also deals with our shadow self, and with it being the new moon, new moon is like the dark side of the moon being visible whenever like the moon has its back turned to us and it's over there writing affirmations. Like, and doing all this little works, it's basically like leading by example. It's like I'm about to turn my back on y'all and I'm about to take care of my affirmations. And, I love y'all and y'all gonna feel the energy from me. But I'm about to, take care of my own little things and get ready for this full moon when my light gonna be shining bright, So a new moon is definitely preparation, planting seeds for them things that you wanna, see grow, definitely. But again, the eclipse energy is bringing out the shadow self, and by bringing out the shadow self, you're able to have these new beginnings. If you having trouble with procrastination, you know it. You not say kind of know, you know it, but you feel like it's not causing that much of a problem or this and that. This eclipse will shine a light on that procrastination to show you like, hey, you might want to fix this if you plan on being this being who is so great. If you plan on becoming your greatest version, this being that's gonna be traveling all over the world and making all this making all this money or this abundance, whatever the form of money it will be, whatever form of currency it shall be, but whatever, this person that's gonna be doing all these things in life, has to get rid of this part, this part of their shadow self in order to grow into that place, and when we say get rid of shadows, as much as you're transmuting the energy of the shadow self and not, necessarily getting rid of the shadow, shining a light on it so you could transmute the energy. So that's one of the main things is, that light gonna be shine on the little shadow places, that little spot behind the cabinet that you didn't clean, you know what I'm saying? and what's real is as above, so below. That's where the feng shui, the feng shui is the way the energy flows through your house, And if you got and just like you could have a little shadow self, or should I say shadow energy or repressed energy in yourself, something hide, saying where you could have some little repressed energy or some little shadows hiding in your house of like some little dirt that you need to clean or whatever that's hiding behind a cabinet or under the sofa. It's time to pick up that sofa and sweep under it or move that cabinet to the side and get that dirt that's behind there. Because even though you can't see it with the obvious eye. You know, you just walk in a house and you can't see that they're just like as above so below. When you just walk into meeting a person for the first time, you know, you don't see all the little dirt they got hiding under the cabinet and stuff like that. You know, you gotta stick around longer. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, I like, you know, being around longer. You get to know them. You keep going to their house. Then you drop something on the floor, and then, you know, you have they roll under the sofa, and then you look under the sofa and like, damn, bro, it's dirty underneath this. So now you find out about people's shadows in that same manner. You know, it's like, you know, from the way it seems, you know, the house is pretty clean, but then it's like, but when you move things around, you know, or you be in that house for long enough, you start to see that it has dirt and little hidden spots. You know, the same thing for us. You know, we got this little repressed energy or dirt spots within us that need the light shined on. I think about myself. One of my journeys is making sure that dealing with the jewelry, that it stays in the realm of doing this to help others, and more so in the fact of what sometimes, you know, again, I never like to put these energies over us, but it is what it is as far as it, you know, influencing my actions. But, you know, that Capricorn energy, that business energy, that aspect, you know what I'm saying, come out, and it's like about the money, you know, about the money, like just trying to get the money, gotta get the money, and that vibe, like, you know, my higher self will show me like, well, nah, whenever you in this mind frame, we gonna make you starve, you know what I'm saying? And that's one of the shadow parts of myself that get shined to the light, you know what I'm saying, that I be having to deal with. I always tell everybody, you know, as far as with the growth situation, or as far as like I'm not no master teacher or your teacher or no guru. Like, I am on my growth just as much as you are on your growth, you know what I'm saying? Like, it never stops for anyone, even somebody who that you may see as a teacher, you know, they constantly growing, you know, like we all growing on some type of level, and there's some being out there that's on that next step of where we headed to, you know, always, you know, this is the never ending story. But yeah, definitely dealing with the shadows, you know, and point that little light, you know, on those little places. Also, some interesting information that resonated with me when I heard it, so that's why I'm sharing it with y'all. But also with this shadow energy, you may have some shadow. So basically, the last time we had an eclipse that was in the Cancer zodiac sign was in 2011. So when this eclipse, you know, is gonna be when its energies is gonna be you know, influencing us or working on us, so to speak. You know, it's gonna revamp or bring up some old energies from 2011 that you may have been doing, like, because the energies are gonna be, you know, similar to the energies that was going on in 2011 eclipse in Cancer. Is gonna kind of bring a reminiscent energy with that, and with that reminiscent energies, it may also recall some shadow situations that you were dealing with in that time, you know, in 2011. So be aware of that. So, and reason being, because why it's good to be aware of this, because, you know, a lot of us, we doing good on our growth, we eating good, meditating a lot, and doing all these things, and that kind of I remember at the beginning of my growth, like, well, you doing all this good stuff, and then something come and throw you off, where it's like, you know, it's just a real harsh lesson, or it seems so harsh where you wondering like if you're being punished for something, you know, and it's just good to be aware that, you know, you may be going through some of these vibrations that may seem like you're getting punished for something, but always realize you're never getting punished. Like, it's just stuff that we have to deal with, stuff that either we've been running away from in past lives and we got to deal with in this life, or stuff you've been running away from in this life that you got to deal with now, you know. But I mean, which I would say is a little bit of both, but regardless, it's a good thing to deal with certain situations. That's why I always bring up how dealing with black obsidian, you know, where it's not for beginners in the aspect of where, you know, wearing it, if you wear it, it's gonna always bring up those shadow, you know, those shadow situations that you need to clean up. And for some of us, you know, especially when we new to the growth, and we still kind of closer to our ego or closer to our intellect or our, you know, our little bodysuit, you know, we gonna see these lessons as harsh and like, man, I don't feel like talking to my ex right now and resolving our problems, you know. So that's why, you know, these lessons could be seen as harsh, but that's just your humanity, you know, being afraid to grow and learn, you know. Like, there's always a growth, there's always a learning process. There's never anything quote unquote bad happening to us ever. You know, it's only an illusion of something bad happening. You know, whenever my grandmother transitioned and my father transitioned, it's an illusion of something bad happening. For one, they transitioned on to a better place. You know, two, I grew from it. You know, I always say if my father was still around and my grandmother still around, I may still be in my hometown of Opelousas, you know, not speaking on any of these things, you know, drinking a 40 ounce, smoking herbs still, you know, you never, you know, so it's always a higher reason for a lot of these situations that may seem harmful or bad. So also keep that in mind, you know, dealing with this eclipse energy that we're about to be moving through right now. Because another thing too, we're gonna start feeling that way before it gets there. So, you know, so even though the solar eclipse is on the 12th or /13th, you know, we're gonna start feeling it, you know, in the early stages of July. You know, so just be aware of that. And for the most part, the energy is just asking us to, you know, since the energies are gonna be fluctuating and, you know, up and down, and two, like a little bit of fluctuation and a lot of stagnant energy as well. When I say stagnant, we got 5 planets in retrograde during this eclipse, in which I'm about to get into a little bit into 2 of them, which is Mars and Mercury, which I just did a little small video on the Mars retrograde. But Mercury will be in retrograde at that time. Well, really, it's gonna be in this deeper retrograde, like in like I want to say like the 25th, 26th area. Like it's gonna be real direct. But the beginning stages are gonna be felt like at around July 7th. You know, going into that stage. So, you know, you're gonna have the Mercury retrograde as well. But again, the energy is gonna be fluctuating, and you're gonna have these retrogrades. So what that means, you know, you don't want to jump the gun on doing things on any level, you know, like as far as like trying to be, you know, too hands-on about manifestations, trying to hurry up and rush any process. Like, you know, you want to, this is going to be the time to really take it slow, because there's going to be so much going on. Your body dealing with so much, there's energies around you and other people dealing with so much, you know what I'm saying, where it's just going to be one of the best times to just kind of, you know, take it slow, you know, slow things down, kind of go with the flow. Matter of fact, in essence, go with the flow and surrender to higher self, surrender to the universe, and just, you know, let things come to you, you know. Grab your little bit of herb if you smoke the herb, you know, smoking and chill with your, you know, with your shoes off and being barefooted, barefeeted, you know, in nature. You know, get that connection to Gaia, to Mama Matrix. You know, even though she part of the, we all our physical being is a part of the Matrix. You know, this is a Matrix too. So, you know, connect to Mama Matrix. You know, and basically allow a lot of grounding, and just allow for yourself to just take it slow. You know, and let these downloads integrate, you know, because these downloads are high vibrations, you know, high vibrational information, and it has to integrate into the lower vibrational body and to the lower chakras as well. So and it wouldn't be a good thing to be trying to be all like, oh, I gotta do this, or I have to take care of that, and I have to, while your body is going through, again, the computer analogy, as above so below, how we create computers. Like when you download a certain little app or whatever, it takes an app that could take, say for instance, 20 minutes to download, but because you're surfing the web doing this, you're preparing some PowerPoint, you're doing all kind of things, you got all kind of other windows open, on the computer, then that download that usually takes 20 minutes now is like gonna take an hour or maybe even 2 hours or 2 days now, because you just, you're doing too much other things while this download trying to come through, so also be aware of that, just to take it slow, surrender to the universe, and allow things. The universe is always conspiring to see us win, not necessarily win, because that means if there's a winner, there's a loser, and there's no winners or losers in this situation. So I just use the word win for lack of a better word, but it is I want to stray away from using terminologies like that, because when you hear win, because your subconscious been programmed to, if you hear one side of it, then we gotta have the other side. If there's a win, there's a loser, and it's just gonna put you in that duality mind. So I'm gonna just say that the universe is always conspiring to benefit you and to and to help you manifest all the things that you truly love and desire. Point blank period. Now also dealing with this, the solar eclipses again is in Cancer. Cancer, the crab, that crab, the crab likes the land area, it's like in that in between spot, which also speaks to something else. So the crab likes to be in that that middle spot, being in the water of course, but then also kind of close to land, like the little in between spot. But it makes me think to why I don't know if it's the you got the different embodiments of Christ over the years, the Christ energy, and I want to say it's a king or god named Verakasha. I can't recall the name. I did a video on this a while back, but basically it was talking about like how we use symbol like with the hieroglyphs. One symbol could mean all kind of things. So the crab in essence was another symbol for the Christ energy, and reason being is because they're talking about how the crab is in that little middle spot where the crab is touching the water. So the crab is kind of touching all elements, and being connected with all elements is being that one with source. So in essence, that high vibrational Christ energy. So like how a crab in a position of like being what a tide is, say for instance, it's going to be touching the water aspect, the earth aspect, it also has some air, touching it as well. The sun is going to be shining on it as well, the fire, the sun, and then of course the ether aspect, all those aspects, in that little mid place, so that's another reason for the crab, and again the subconscious programmed by symbols, the whole situation. So that Cancer energy is going to be about balance. We're going to be doing a lot of balance, and that's another reason too to kind of just slow down and go with the flow, to not forcefully say, hey, I'm about to be more intuitively, not force the issue and say, hey, I'm about to be more intuitive and more dreamy, or hey, I'm about to be more practical and more hands-on. It's just like just kind of vibe in that balance spot and just let things come to you and go with the flow of the universe. If the universe, if your higher self might ask you to eat a pizza, drink a orange soda, or do, and I'm being a little out there with it, but honestly, you never know. Like again, our spiritual growth is not a practical one, and and sometimes these things may seem like, where it's coming from our lower self in essence, but again, we are balancing out, the higher self and the lower self in the essence of like our physical nature and our non-physical nature, so and when you think to like the whole alkalinity process where it's supposed to be a balance, if you've been, say for instance, going to such a high alkaline spot where you may have your body close to suffering from sickness from being, over alkaline, then your higher self is gonna be like, nah, bro, eat this piece. Or even some of us not too far removed from eating meat, it may tell you to eat a piece of meat or something like that. You know what I'm saying? But that is a possibility. That's why being dogmatic about anything kind of takes you away from your spirit, because spirit could be illogical at times. So, for that person that's like, I'm a vegan and I'm not eating meat because and this and that, even though you're still killing vegetables and still killing plant life, like just because it doesn't have eyes and scream loud, it doesn't have sentience. Like those plants not exchanging oxygen for carbon dioxide right now. You know what I'm saying? Like photosynthesis don't happen within plants. Like there's no life in plants. But anyway, you get to these dogmatic places of like, oh yeah, I'm here, and that for either side, I'm a meat eater or I'm a vegan, and like you're just stubbornly trying to stand on your thing, and then say for instance for the meat eaters where you've been asked to raise the vibration a little bit, get away from that that vibe that meat may bring, as far as like the vibration of that animal and what it was dealing with before it got killed. You know what I'm saying? It may be time for you to step away from that energy, and the person who's eating vegan foods too much or whatever the case may be, you need a little ground, and it's time for you to be a little more aggressive in your approach. So you ask to eat a little piece of meat. This is this could be a reality of the situation. This could be asked of you. So just definitely staying aware though with the crab energy, staying aware of the balance. The balance between the water and the earth. The dreamy energy, the water, the no boundaries, just going with the flow, and also being in tune with the practical earthy energy, the boundaries, the being a little logical about certain things, the balance of both. And also I catch a strong vibe too in that sense to definitely connect with family. The Cancer energy is a nurturing, a mother-like energy. It's gonna have a little divine feminine energy to it. So we may find ourselves, dealing with showing more compassion, and also dealing with our emotions. Definitely, because Cancer is ruled by the moon, and then it's a new moon and solar eclipse, so all those energies is going to be mixed in there, but definitely going to have a divine feminine energy, having us dip into our emotions, and having and realizing too the importance of emotional intelligence. Being able to read your emotions. Your emotions tell the story of a situation. When you walk in a place and your heart just telling you like, man, I really don't feel like being here. You never spoke to nobody or none of that. Like, you logically you haven't, seen any physical evidence to make you say like, oh, I just want to leave. But your heart and your emotions, energy, emotion is like, bro, like I don't feel like being here. Because another thing too in life, which we should be looking at, that's why it's important to look at our emotional intelligence, because we should be doing what we truly love and want. Like, we're getting closer to knowing to program our subconscious and to know that life is about doing whatever you want. You don't have to go through anything that you don't have to go through, unless the universe is asking you to step up to the plate in a certain little lesson that you should be stepping up to the plate in. This life is not about going through hardships all the time. Like, it's about dealing with what you love. Like say for instance, even like when we find ourselves dealing with people we don't feel like dealing with, and when you really look at the situation, you really don't have to deal with that person. Like, you're just dealing with them to be nice because you I know for myself, like I had that people pleasing vibe, you know. It's like, nah, like you don't have to please nobody, you know. But I kind of left off of where that rant was going, or where that the information was going. I think I was talking about you know, dealing with the nurturing energy of the mother, you know, and dealing with also, if I didn't say it, connecting with family is gonna be another important vibe. You know, that Cancer energy definitely deals with the family structure as well. So, you know, for a lot of us on our spiritual growth, you know, a lot of us may have turned a cold shoulder too strongly to our family and friends, you know. You know, we got on our spiritual growth and was like, you know, how we first get into it with a little bit of our ego in it. We're like, oh, they don't get it. The sheeple, they'll never learn. They ain't gonna get it. I don't see how they can't see why chakras do this. I can't. Why they don't understand crystals? They slow. They stupid. This and that. You know, it's like, you know, we definitely had that little vibe of being too harsh and judgmental, forgetting that, hey, we were once that person, you know. For myself, I was once that person sipping a 40, popping Xanax, doing coke and smoking sherms and all these different little things that, you know, were preventing me from growing. But, you know, Source didn't discriminate against me and my growth as far as like allowing for me to have that area to grow, you know. And the same thing with us, like, look, you know, connecting with family members. Like, we're all on different parts of our growth. Some of us meant to wake up, some of us not. But at the same time, we don't have to throw away a connection fully just off of the strength of that. You know, find ways to, you know, to interact and communicate with family and friends who you may have grew away from. You know, there's still some type of vibe of us, you know, connecting in some form or fashion. Now, in some cases, of course, it's just so far gone, where it's just like, it's just nothing there, you know, like that person is just like, sees you, like, you know, that part of the family or that family member or that friend just sees you as so far gone for this chakra and crystal stuff, to where, you know, that connection can never be, like I say, reconnected. But if it seems like that, even still, if you don't reach out on a physical level, just send energy, like unconditional love, where, like, you know, like, bro, that person just on their growth. I love them, and I hope that my love for them could be felt and sent to them at all times. You know, even though we may not be able to hold a conversation together, you know, I still love that person. But definitely reaching out and connecting with family, and also the crab energy. You know, the crab got the shell, you know, to hide in that shell for protection and safety. So also being aware of protecting our energy, being aware of the people, places, and things that we are allowing to interface with our auric field, you know, with our energy. You know, we want to protect ourselves from energies that we know are harmful to our spiritual growth, to our being, you know, both physical and metaphysically, you know. But definitely want to protect your energy and be, you know, and I don't know, not to a point where you're fear mongering yourself. You know, again, it's just that protection, that safety, you know, of just you know, keeping yourself from vibrations that you know that you shouldn't be around, vibrations that hinder your growth, in essence. You know, we all know what those things are for our own unique particular growth, you know. So I want to speak on that as well, back again, dealing with this eclipse and the energies we're moving into. We got the Mars retrograde, and you You got the Mercury retrograde. The Mars is gonna kind of have a, like, it's gonna provoke like an anger and a confrontational type of vibe, like that me first, somewhat of an ego vibe, you know, like in essence, you know, that Ram, that Aries, you know, the Mars energy, you know, me first, I'm first. I was the firstborn. Everybody gotta listen to me and do what I say, cause I'm the first one. You know, that's kind of like where that energy comes from. That's kind of like what the energy of God in the Old Testament, you know, it's like that first, you know, first presentation of God's that Mars like energy. But anyway, you're seeing this energy dealing with anger and confrontation. I spoke to how I've been catching thoughts of, you know, getting into fights with people and stuff like that. And I'm like, you know, where that's coming from, you know. There's that Mars retrograde energy. Again, a retrograde is basically where from Earth, from us looking at a planet from Earth, it seems like that planet has went, you know, stopped its orbit. It almost either look like it's going backwards or like it's standing still. You know, when something is standing still or going backwards, either way, but just standing still, that energy is gonna stay strong, you know, for a nice period of time compared to it kind of coming in and going out. You know, it's like kind of like stamps his little flagpole down and say, you know, I'm gonna be here for a little second, you know. So you're gonna be dealing with those energies for a second, so be aware of that. I'm also seeing it because it's coming out of a situation, so I'm seeing a little bit of mudslinging on the YouTube circuit, you know, and platform, you know, going on right now. Which, I mean, from time to time, it may be going on all types of levels. I try to, not even say try, I do my best to stay away from it, unless Spirit says to obviously say something about it. You know, as close as I got into something like that when I spoke to the little Dr. Sebi and Dick Gregory, little, you know, quote unquote beef to a certain extent. Matter of fact, I got that video if you want to go check it out. But and matter of fact, I shade to both of the ancestors. But yeah, that energy of wanting to, you know, fight and be confrontational, I definitely see it floating around, you know, very strongly. But again, remember though, we're not perfect, you know, in the essence of being in our humanity. You know, the real perfection of this existence is realizing that nothing will be perfect. And when you come to grips with nothing will be perfect, then that's perfection. that is the true perfection, and realizing that there is no perfection. Like, you, in order, until you become a breatharian, there's no way for you, like, it's chaos on all levels. Something has to be quote unquote transitioned or killed in order for something else to get an energy source, you know what I'm saying? Like, just chaos, you know. And once you realize, well, shit, this is gonna be chaos, you know, it is what it is, you know, then you'll start to come to grips with the perfection of this whole thing. But also something else I want to speak to, like, and just an overall theme, and it's gonna be a little strong with this eclipse, you know, exposing the shadow self, but also getting us closer to being more authentic, you know. A lot of us, that's why, you know, I be on my Eminem, I be on my B-rap stuff from like Eminem from 8 Mile, or like where he started off his rap talking about himself, like, you know, like all the things that I'm dealing with, you know, like, be real, be authentic, you know. Now is not the time to have this facade about anything that you're doing, you know what I'm saying? If you know your energy work in the Reiki area needs a little, you know, a little sprucing, you know, you need to clean up a little more, to do so. You know, don't be like, oh, I am the greatest Reiki worker ever, and this and that, when you kind of knowing that you may need to work on that area, you know what I'm saying? Like, or with me, like, where I get information, I'm always one to say, hey, I piggyback this idea from you know, this brethren or that brethren, you know, like as far as different videos or different people that I learn different things from, or different ideas that I may be speaking on, but comes from somebody. Like I don't present it like, oh yeah, this is my information, this is my idea, which none of this is any of our information. You know what I'm saying? To begin with, you know, that's the paradox of the universe, how we all could present to you, or this is my channel information, or this is, you know, my studies, but at the end of the day, it's a collective consciousness, and there's nothing new, quote unquote, under the sun. But I don't like to use that quote, but it's just nothing new in the, you know, in the realms of the ether. We just all pulling down recycled information, and now a lot of this information is kind of seeming like it's new to us, because it's you know, because we've been asleep from a lot of information for so long. But back to so I was speaking on just being authentic. You know, right now is the time to be authentic. A lot of YouTubers, energy workers, entertainers, politicians, you know, a lot of people getting the carpet pulled from under them, you know what I'm saying? And we really getting to see what's truly going on, you know. So again, that's why for me myself, I speak to, hey, I'm always growing and always got areas to grow. So that's why I never presented myself as like, oh yeah, I am your masterful guru, I am perfection in your face, and you should listen to everything I say because I am your guru, the perfect master of the universe. You know, I don't. And I tell people, and if you feel like that's the vibe that I be on, then that's you. That's your perception of me. You know what I'm saying? That's something inside yourself that's discontent with the way I present myself. You know, you like, oh, look at him, he think he all of that. You know, that's another thing. People don't realize how much that comes from yourself, as far as like if you think somebody is like if you think somebody thinks that they're a master, or that they are a guru and they're not, and things of this nature. Don't forget that a lot of that be you projecting your own, you know, projecting your own perception of a situation onto a person, and it may not even be that, you know. But you know, so again, the time to be authentic, and then just finishing off in essence with the, you know, there's going to be a Mercury retrograde at this time, so be careful with dealing with your communication, of course, your business and commerce, you know, dealing with technology. Technology may be a little faulty around these times, so, you know, definitely beware of that. You know, have active thoughts. And again, it's Mercury retrograde, Mars retrograde, you know, so confrontational communication, confrontational energies that may exist around business. You know, beware of all that. You know, that's why, again, taking our time, going with the flow, you know, not feeling like we have to press send. You know what I'm saying? Hold off. I might not want to press send right now, you know. Maybe the energies of Mars and Mercury got you in your feelings, you know, or got you in some little confrontational mode, and it may not be, now may not be the time to express yourself, you know, on a certain situation. So definitely be aware of that. But that's basically it. You know. And again, the 5 planets going to be in retrograde, including Mars and Mercury. So again, we don't want to be, you know, overly active. There's going to be a lot of little energies working on us. Again, like the download, like the computer situation as above, so below. Trying to download a file, but then you open it up all kind of other little windows, trying to do all kind of other stuff. Then you're gonna slow down the speed of the download, you know. So you wanna catch that download, slow it up, take them shoes off, plant your feet in the ground. You know, if you smoke the herb, smoke the herb. If you don't, drink your little tea, whatever you do. So, you know, catch that little slow down vibe. Matter of fact, some valerian root and chamomile and lavender tea. That's a tranquilizer right there. Especially that valerian root. A lot of people don't know that the basis of valerian root. So like valerian and volumes, you know. know, Valiums is closely akin to Xanax or whatever. And I'm definitely not telling people to deal with the prescriptions. I'm just telling you how things come from a natural place. But you know, like, and to for those who familiar with, I just keep it real though, those who familiar with the effects of Xanax and Valiums, you know, that real, you know, tranquilizing vibe, you know, slow down vibe. If you look into you know, to calm yourself, to calm anxiety, or you know, looking for sleep aid, you know, drink some valerian root tea, valerian, chamomile, and lavender. You know, that'll definitely do the job right there. So that's something to check out. Not the prescription drugs that they're using to kill everybody. Not those or transition everybody. Y'all not going nowhere. To a certain extent. That's basically it. Again, if you find the information helpful, useful, or you resonate with it in some way, form, or fashion, you know, you want to reciprocate that energy, or you benefiting from the information. I use those big words and reciprocate and all that. But anyway, I have a PayPal account, or PayPal link under most of my videos. If you would like to donate, I have the PayPal link in the detail areas, in the detail area of most of my videos, and then at the top left or top right, if you're on a desktop, you know, you go to YouTube from the desktop, I have a little icon. It's around like where the Instagram icon is at, but you know, I had a little PayPal link right there. And then also, if you follow me on Instagram, I also have my link under my Universal Frequencies Instagram page as well. So information helps you resonate with it. Basically it. Peace. Bam. Happy now. Now is the vibrate. The rate at which we're vibing. Not too far in the future. Not too far in the past. Right now.